I think most people know that the collection of OTC derivatives data started after a commitment from the G20 in 2009. Early implementation started in 2011, and then jurisdictions went one after the other. By 2014, the FSB had issued a report which basically said good progress, but we're concerned about inconsistencies with the data that's being collected, and called for CPMI and IOSCO to work on standards of data. By 2017, CPMI and IOSCO had issued technical guidance for unique transaction identifiers, or UTIs, unique product identifiers, or UPIs, and critical data elements. They also called or suggested that the jurisdictions adopt these principles over time. So these rule rewrites are really predicated on a couple of things. One is just tweaks from each jurisdiction, and the second thing is the adoption, and more important, the adoption of these standards for trade reporting. Hopefully, after we're through all of these rewrites, this should facilitate the ability to amalgamate data across jurisdictions and improve the quality of the data that's reported, and hopefully as well be a little bit more cost effective in terms of ongoing maintenance. So phase 1 for the CFTC has already gone live in December last year. Phase 2, which is the adoption of UPI for all asset classes other than commodities, is going to be in January next year. That will be followed by the JFSA rewrite early April next year, and in the same month, the EU refit will be implemented at the end of April. That will be followed by the UK rewrite or refit in September next year, and then short on the heels of that will be MAS and ASIC in October. We're still waiting to hear final dates for HKMA and the final phases for the CFTC, which is the adoption of UPI for commodities and also the implementation of ISO standards. To do this amount of change in this short space of time is obviously going to need an awful lot of coordination amongst reporting entities, trade repositories, and the regulators themselves. A lot of this is going to sound obvious. With this amount of compression of deliveries one after the other, particularly those that are reporting in many jurisdictions, planning is really important. So getting the plans, understanding the interactions, the milestones to be delivered, having good project management, having the right budgets, the right resources, the right expertise. And if you haven't got the right expertise or you don't have the right project management expertise, then you may have to go outside for that. The second thing I would say is that it's really important for firms to understand the detail within the rewrites. It's easy to miss levels of the detail in something that's this technical. I would also say that for firms that report in multiple jurisdictions, look at the consistencies between some of these jurisdictions. There are going to be things that are going to be similar in each of the jurisdictions or exactly the same. So understanding those similarities can help with the efficiency of analysis and development and testing. Testing is absolutely critical. We saw this with the CFTC go live in December. Those firms that were early in testing had really thorough test plans and tested those test plans over and over, fared much better when they went live than those that did not. There are 3 other things I wanted to mention, I think, that are important. First, for DTCC clients, hook into the working groups. We run working groups across the world that are focused on this change. They are really good resources to hear where we are in our development, any issues that we're seeing, feedback any information also that's coming directly from the regulators to us, and also to hear questions and answers from other industry participants. The second thing would be make sure that you understand the process changes that are required by these rewrites. Sometimes people just regard these as technology deliverables and data. Actually, there's some process changes that are going to come as a result of these rewrites and refits. So I think an example of which, by the way, is the CFTC reconciliation. Also, the adoption of UPI will need process changes. So understanding the full end-to-end impact of these rewrites is really important. And then the final thing, understandably, the regulators are expecting good quality of data. They expect the reporting entities to provide good quality data in their reporting. So now is a good time to look at the total control frameworks that firms have put in place, the technology they're using, the processes they've got, to see if there are any deficiencies. And even if those deficiencies can't be solved for because of the amount of change, understanding which of those deficiencies can actually be implemented at the same time as a refit or a rewrite, and those that have to correct it after the go live. It's really important to have that kind of strategy that leads firms to an efficient, quality, cost-effective reporting ecosystem.